Welcome back to the Girls Room. What is on your mind today? What is on it? So many things. So many things, constantly trying to narrow my focus and figure out how to come to this therapy session as whole as possible and as concise as possible, because it is just so chaotic all of the time. All right, let's get into it in the girls' room. So, dating is so weird. It's so hard just because it's like, is it serious? Is it casual? There are so many rules, and I think I'm having a positive experience not having rules, but at the same time, it's like I want to be strategic and I want to make sure I'm thinking before I just like let my emotions fly, because I'm realizing they can do that. My emotions can just go whoop because I'm not used to really expressing them. And so I'm like, I'm not on a roller coaster, which is great. And I think that is also a testament to who I'm like dating. But I do have moments of curiosity on how to progress in a productive and like strategic way. But it's hard to do when feelings are involved. I'm like, okay, I'm making note and observations on some of the things that maybe I'm experiencing that I do like and that I don't like, but I'm in no way eliminating anyone based off of that so far. It's like you either eliminate yourself, which I think is kind of the main thing that happens, where you just kind of fizzle out, or we'll just kind of see what happens. Go with the flow. I like this go with the flow era. Because at the end of the day, I'm still like learning a lot about myself, about others, how to communicate. And they don't all have to be the one or just like cream of the crop, as long as they're not bottom of the barrel. Like, I'm still not going to compromise on core things, but I'm having a good time. And I guess what's top of mind is something that a friend mentioned a while ago. It kind of just like came up in conversation today when I was talking to another friend. And she said, would you find it harder to introduce your significant other, partner, whoever it is you're dating, to your group of friends or your family? Like, would you have anxiety over doing so for one group versus the other, or both, or whatever? Just kind of like open door question. And I thought about it and I was like, honestly, I think we were watching something where someone was nervous about bringing them around. Might have been The Ultimatum on Netflix. But someone was kind of nervous about bringing them around friends. And for me, I'm like, I really don't care about bringing the love interest or whoever around friends, because I'm like, though I value your opinion as my friend, you're not living in this relationship, and I really just don't care. Like, I will not be friends with you. It's not going to make or break. Now, if there are crazy flags in all of my friends at a particular event or whatever say kind of like the same thing, it's like, ooh, he's trash, then yes, I'll be more inclined to listen. But I know myself, and I'm just not going to listen. I just don't care too much, because you're not... you're a friend, this is casual. Like, if I introduce somebody to friends, it really doesn't mean anything. Like, as far as like expectation goes, like, I love my friends, great, but I also kind of have that same sentiment around family. Like, if I introduce you to family, who cares? Like, I'm the one making decisions, and I'm not about to go through every single thing about you to try to convince family or try to put you in a certain light with family. I just think that, it doesn't have to be that serious. It doesn't have to be so significant of a thing to introduce people to other people in your life. It's like, hey, come with me to this event that my friend's hosting. Oh my God, you're gonna meet my friends. This is a big deal. Like, it doesn't have to be. I kind of push back on the idea that it has to be. However, I suppose I do not introduce people to anyone ever. So almost by default, I am bringing significance to those that I do introduce to friends and family. But yeah, I think because I really haven't introduced a partner or whatever to family for sure, and probably friends too, like it's an actual, like, this is my boyfriend. Even thinking that and thinking about that person makes me want to vomit a little bit. It's been 10 years. It's been a full over 10 years actually. So now I have to kind of think about who I'm bringing around, because apparently people know me or think that I'm secretive and that I have this secret life, and who knows what I'm up to, and I don't know. But after that past experience, I was like, I don't want to introduce anyone to anyone ever again unless it's my husband, because what's the point? Even though I didn't have like a crazy experience bringing him around people, I will say that there was at least one comment about him not being black. Just maybe a couple. That doesn't shake me, of course, in introducing someone else, but I just am like, if you do that, it just makes it feel too serious, especially as I'm like diving into this dating journey, and I haven't historically been the person to just bring people around for funsies. Because I have not historically really liked someone enough to do that, or just liked someone enough to be public with them in any way. It's like, no, we're just hanging out. Let's Netflix and chill. Totally fine. You don't need to be around anyone ever, because we're just gonna be inside. Not that I'm ashamed of you, and I'm not trying to hide you intentionally, but I guess I just kind of revert to this, like, it's just let's just figure this out. I don't know, but I'm like very unsure about how I feel about this whole introduction thing. It kind of feels like a big deal. And I think it feels like a big deal because I'm considering how others perceive it. And I'm realizing, just based off of what happened recently, that others perceive me bringing someone around as if it matters. Like, oh, I just was introduced to so-and-so. Do you know who this person is? And it's like, y'all really act like I can't just bring people around. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, this is the person I'm going to marry. This is the person I'm with today. So that's all. But, I guess people know my heart. Or I don't know. Whatever my reputation is, it's apparently one of secrets. And it's not super intentional. I just know that the last time I brought someone around, I did not want to. I did not want to be with this person, much less did I want to bring this person around my family. And it's weird because I'm not even super duper close to my family. And maybe if I was, it wouldn't really matter. But because we're not like friends necessarily, we're just family, it does have like some ring of significance, like bringing someone around, I guess, for me. Something I need to unpack a little. But it's also like I don't bring people around my friends either. Like unless you live with me, like you're a friend that also lives with me, like my current roommate or my past roommate that just so happen to be some of my closest friends, then you'll meet who I'm dating because he'll be around and I'll be out. Um, and you'll run into each other. But outside of that, you probably will never, ever, ever meet anyone that I'm dating because if I'm dating him, then we're out dating. We're not hanging out with you. I guess I just don't find that super fun unless we've been dating for a while and we're just like playing house essentially. So we are a part of each other's lives and we just kind of like, oh, what's on the calendar today? Oh, I have this. Okay, cool. Let's do X, Y, and Z. But if we're dating each other and it's kind of early and we're not like married, then it really feels like it should just be the two of us 90% of the time. Um, but I think 2025, I'm gonna open that up a little bit and just invite people to be around me in my life. I feel like that would be a good gauge on whether I can actually see someone in my life long term if they can kind of fit in with what I do. Like, okay, I like to go to the farmer's market, or I like to go to church with some friends, or my friend's having a birthday and it's kind of like, it's open. So come with me. I don't even really think about that. I'm like, in the past when I've dated people, it's just been like, oh, okay, I'm doing this, and then maybe I'll hit up whoever after or before or the next day or whatever. Um, but this could be a good experience. Just integrate this person into my life a little, or these people or whoever. Of course, I also don't want anyone else to misread that in thinking, oh my God, this girl's bringing me around family. She's in love with me. She's this, she's that. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe most people don't take it seriously. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to go hang out with this girl's family or friends. It's probably never going to be my family because I don't really hang around my family for fun. But yeah, it's interesting to even like answer questions like, oh, what did your friends think about me? I'm like, nothing. They didn't say anything. Of course, that the friends are always going to talk. You got questions, and I actually want to know too. Like, I would love to be a little fly on the wall, kind of. Like, I'm sure me being a fly on the wall with men, it gets a little salacious, just in the nature of their conversation. So maybe I wouldn't want to be on that wall, but I want to have an interpretation of what was said about me. Like, okay, she's cool. Like, that's all I want to hear. If they don't like me, well, maybe I'd want to hear it. I don't know. Like, your friends don't like me. That's crazy. Does that mean you don't like me? Because birds of a feather. But yeah, 2025, I gotta like, cook up some things. It's literally Christmas. It's Christmas, which is crazy. It flew by. And it's kind of interesting to date during this time and like cuffing season or whatever, because you want to spend time together, but you also don't want there to be too much pressure. But I'm in this situation where I'm like, I want to just spend time with you regardless, and it just so happens to be Christmas and the New Year. And for me, I think that I'm such a giving person apparently. Like, I just want to gift people with things if we talk about it. And I suppose this is just like people I'm interested in, maybe not just everyone. I'm gifting things to everyone because that's not really the case. Unless I really feel like, oh my God, this is something for you. And that's what I'm doing. And it is Christmas time. So, of course, naturally, you kind of think about gifts. But thinking about that for somebody kind of new, it's just like, like, I don't want to set a crazy precedent or just like move too fast. Like, It's been a couple weeks, it's been a couple months. Like, are we ready for Christmas? Like, are we gifting each other things? Do I need to ask? I'm not going to. I'm just gonna give you what I got. No expectation for you to, give me anything, but I will take note. I am taking note of everything, which is good. I think it's good. I'm not eliminating necessarily unless it's something like super red flag. But right now it's just kind of nitpicky things. I'm like, oh, okay. I noticed how you didn't pay for the things that I wanted to buy for myself. That's crazy. You don't have to. But I'm making observations. But, I think that ultimately, as I'm closing out this year and coming to terms with the challenges, the perils, and the joys of dating, I'm just up for the ride. It's very interesting to navigate, and I think that it's nice to encounter this cuffing season and winter season and holiday season through the dating and all of that jazz, and then hopefully I have a nice little full dating summer season too, because it's like, all right, who are people when they're cold, when it's cold outside? Who are people when they're turned up and it's hot outside and everybody's out and about and single and ready and naked? So we'll see. I mean, I have no expectations. I am excited to really continue. I feel like this is just propelling my journey into 2025. It's crazy that practically tomorrow, but really like next week or so, it's going to be a new year. And it's not really crazy because it happens every year, it happens all the time, but it just happens so quickly. And I really want to make sure that I am being mindful on every level and I'm hitting every portion of life. Like, love is so much more than dating and romance. It's a lot. It's like the love of myself, I think, is really center and so important to trickle into the other facets of my life. Like, I love myself so much that I'm trying to grind, and I'm happy that I'm even articulating that with the people I'm dating or person I'm dating or whatever. And with everyone I encounter, I'm like, these next few years are grind mode. So now I really have to like write down what that means and where I want to be. Like, it's not enough to say it, and saying it is great because it's creating this desire, and then the repetition of saying it and writing it down and really like putting it in your brain is creating the faith behind it that's like materializing into action and reward. And so this is the time where I'm going to strike it with desire and faith and action, and I have to do that by writing it down. And so how, in what way will I do that? Of course I'll do that with my Date IRL journal. But actually, this journal, I have like a couple journals and maybe a diary. So I kind of have a little dating journal, a little dating diary, because I feel like it's important for me, at least, to separate my thoughts, because I have so many thoughts running every moment that I can't feasibly put like my thoughts about career and personal and love and all of that into one book, because I'm gonna lose track. And so I've been doing okay with separating them. I have to be a little better. I just love to collect journals, I guess. But with this one, I just write about love and dating. So I can go back and just see, like, I'm writing about these dates and in detail. What I want, the whole list thing. And sometimes you still gotta write it out. You can scratch it off. Like I'm scratching off certain things on this list. I'm like, I don't think I need that. Scratching off the whole list, just letting myself be vulnerable with this book. And it's been very helpful, and it's super cute, and it's nice and just like portable. It's so small, like bring it with this book that I'm also reading, which has nothing to do with love, and it's wear and tear, but I'm like such a like Barnes and Noble gal now, more than literally ever before. I never even had like a library card, but now I'm just like, these books are just so impactful. It just like really helps the mind, and I feel like once you battle the mind, you're good to go. So literally same size, put this in my little tote bag, and I take it everywhere. It's like I always need pen and paper. I am that girly. I can't do the digital all the time. Like I can transfer it maybe to digital if need be. I would never transfer all of my journal slash diary entries digitally because no one needs to see that, and I don't trust digital half the time. But it's been really nice to even go back. Like I had a moment the other day where I was trying to remember this date that I had just gone on, and I was like, what do we do? And I looked back at it, and I was just like smiling a little bit. I was a little giddy. I'm like, oh yeah, that was nice. And so it's nice to be thorough, and in the event I want to toss all the stuff I can, it's just like, it's all in one book. I can just toss in the trash. I wouldn't, but I know where to look for my little like love entries. And then I have another book for more resolutions that admittedly I have not looked at for a year, which is really bad. So I'm like, okay, I actually need to create a book solely for goal setting, and maybe I can add finance. But I think I got better on the separation of journals with my little journal diary. I'm like, okay, it's so easy for me to just focus on love for this because it's pink and red, and it's lovey and it's cute and it's whatever. So no finance talk in this. I'm gonna create another Date IRL version for just like goal setting, because Date IRL is not just for you dating someone else, it's really dating yourself. Like you have to spoil yourself in the way that you want to be spoiled, and now what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do, what you have done. And so you're not just like so easily impressed by anything. So you date in real life, date yourself in real life, go out, go on dates, go to the movies, go to dinner by yourself. So when people come along and want to do that, it's not like, oh my God, you took me to the Cheesecake Factory. Nah. I mean, if you like cheesecake, that's totally fine. But don't be easily impressed. That's really the goal. We are going to be selling these. This was just the first draft of it. I wanted to see how it looked, how it felt in the design. There are a couple tweaks just with making sure that the format's kind of perfect, because some of the lines are like not super pristine, but ultimately this is what we will be coming out with. It's just like a super simple journal. Just like get your thoughts out there. If you don't have a mirror and you can't therapize yourself in the way that I'm doing, sometimes it's nice just to freaking write it down. It's so simple, but it needs to be done, and you can just focus on one topic, love. And it can be all about love, not just romantic love, but all of the things. And I find it super extremely helpful, and it's actually really nice to look back at it's not like super poetic all the time. Sometimes I do think that I'm being poetic and all scholarly, but I never am because I'm just pouring out because I'm like writing so much and I'm like, and then we did this, and then we did that, and then like I don't have time to even really spell check and make sure that everything makes that much sense. I'm reading it back and I'm like, I'm talking like a fifth grader. But I'm just pouring out my heart and making sure it gets on the paper so that I don't forget it and I can come back and just remember like things that we did and things that I did and circle back next year and say, okay, you know what, I was outside and I did date and it's not like, a competition with the world and maybe it is a numbers game, but there is just like so much to be learned, even if it's 1, 2, 3 dates, I think that sometimes media or friends and family just death by comparison for sure and you think you're not doing something right but you are. And for me this journey is just like throw spaghetti on the walls. I love it. Just go bananas. Whatever you want to do, try it. You want to ask somebody out, try it, do it. Like be a little assertive. It's not something I usually shy